Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to show you my setup for when I play live music as a solo musician. So this is the basic setup. I've got my drums with its own mic, and I have a single mic for when I play just acoustic. We'll start out here with my speakers. I have the RCF Evox J8. Now this one is the first one I had. It doesn't have the mixer. It's just a speaker, and that's all it is. I got this other one about a year ago, too. That way I have a stereo pair. It's the same brand, same model. This one just has the mixer on built into it. I was using this mixer for a little bit, but then didn't like it a whole lot. But I'm glad I have it just as a backup if I ever need it and don't have another mixer on me. The old mixer I was using, first off, I started out with the Behringer XR18, which is a really good mixer. The only thing I didn't like about it was I didn't like having to switch between my iPad going from the mixer back to my songs, and I didn't use all the features on it. I only used a couple inputs. So after that, I got the Behringer Flow 8, which worked pretty good for a while, but I recently upgraded. The mixer I'm using now is an Allen & Heath CQ18T. The main reason I wanted to get this was because I missed having just more inputs for more functionality, and the main reason was this one will do multi-track to an SD card, and I don't have to plug in anything else. I can just hit record, and it'll record all my tracks individually. That way I can mix it in post to upload it. Also, a great thing about this is it's full featured. It has its own tablet built in, so I can adjust the volume on just on the mixer itself, and it's got these knobs that you can assign to do different functions. It's got a couple assignable buttons. One I have set to record tracks. This one is a mute. I forget what this one's set to, but it also connects to Wi-Fi like the Behringer XR18, so I can control it with my tablet if I want to, but I do everything on the mixer itself, which is really nice because I don't have to get my iPad out or do anything else. I bought this case for it at Harbor Freight. It's just a knockoff Pelican. It's the Apache 3800. It works great. It feels safe in there. Nice, rugged, pretty cheap too. Moving down from the mixer, I have this rack system. It's 4-space. The case is an SKB. I'll link the specific model. I'll link everything I'm talking about in this video. But I got a Furman power conditioner. It's really just a glorified power strip that fits in a rack. But then under that I have an Axifex 3. I don't need that much power for running things, but it's nice to have it. I can do anything I want. I know I'm not limited to anything. Generally I only run one preset that runs everything, my electric and my acoustics. You can see it's kind of complicated routing, but that way I don't have to switch between presets. As long as I'm on the one preset, I know I'm good to go. All my sounds will be ready. I don't have to hit a bunch of switches and make sure I'm on the right patch. But Axifex has been amazing. Can't say enough good things about it. From the Axifex, it's connected to the foot controller, the FC12. This thing does anything you would want it to do as a foot controller. It's connected through one XLR cable, which I love. It's powered through that too. So all I have to do is plug this one cable in. It's powered, it's connected, and these switches are soft touch, so there's no clicks. It's really smooth. I can program all kinds of things. I don't even know how to program all the things it's able to do. I just found something that works for me and have stuck with it. You can do a tap, you can do a hold for a secondary function. You can program all kinds of things with this. It's great. There's also a 6-pedal version, which I thought about getting, but it's nice having all 12. Moving up, I've got my mic stand. So this is one thing that I wish I would have upgraded sooner. Before, I was using some cheap stands that I got from an auction. The cheap stands from the auction, they would always fall down, or they were really, really hard to open up. But then I upgraded to these K&M. They're about $100 each, but absolutely worth it. Haven't had any problems with them. I've had them for about 2 years, I think. I've got these things to hold picks. I don't drop very many picks, so 2 is enough for me. But these are great. They're pretty cheap too, so I recommend you get these. If you drop a lot of picks, you can get a big one too. But even having just 2 on there is nice. Running a SM58 on both mics, just your standard. It's really nice to have a drink holder. This one's the string swing. They're pretty good. They're a little bit flimsy, but I haven't really had any problems with them. Sometimes if it's a glass can or a glass that's shaped like a can, it can be hard to grab out. I haven't dropped any of those, but I have dropped a plastic cup before, pulling it out of here. Luckily it was just water. But they can be a little confusing to get on, but once you get the hang of it, they're easy. A little floppy, but they work good. My my harmonica holder, just your standard, I think it's Hohner. I forget the brand. I think it's Hohner. I'll link to it. It works okay. I know Farmer Foot Drums, they make a different harmonica holder, which I've been interested in getting, but just never looked into it really. These work, but can be a little bit of a pain because you have to put it on and then tighten it with these. If you've ever used one, you know what I'm talking about. That's all that holds it up. So sometimes if you don't tighten it enough, it'll fall. And then it can be a little tricky to get your harmonica in because you gotta pull this thing down while holding a harmonica, slip it in, and it's just held in by pressure. But it works. Not the greatest, but it works. My iPad, just an old iPad I use for OnSong. I made a video about that a couple weeks ago, so check that out if you want to know more about my iPad setup. But it's connected to my Axe Effects through a Bluetooth to MIDI adapter, and then I have MIDI changes, scroll up and down, change the song on this foot switch, which controls all my songs and my set list. Wouldn't play a show without that. My Bluetooth to MIDI adapter is plugged in back here on my Axe Effects. It's a Yamaha. I forget the specific model. I'll link to it. All of this sits on top of a little Husky box with wheels I got at Home Depot. It's great to have one of these because I throw all of my chords and it fits the FC12 foot pedal really nice. And it's on wheels. It does get really heavy, but it's worth it. And conveniently, it fits my rack pretty well. So I just have that little stack and it fits nicely. I also have this little Husky box I got recently. It holds just harmonicas, extra picks, string changing tools, batteries, some earplugs. This is my wireless system. Made a video on that a couple years ago. Check that out. This works pretty good. I did have it did get interrupted last gig, so I switched to a regular cord, but In the 3 or so years I've been using it, that's one of the first time I've really noticed it. So pretty reliable for what I do. Here's a cable for that, my harmonicas. This is a controller for the lights I'll show you in a second. Capos. Always have an extra capo. I've shown up to a show without one before, and that kind of sucked. In this box, it opens up to, I hold my microphones and a couple extra cables in here. In this, another Husky box, it connects to the big black one that the rack sits on. It gets really heavy when I put both of them on there. So just be careful. You don't want to have too much weight in your setup because it makes it a pain to load in and load out. Cords. Again, I use my wireless for my acoustic most of the time, but if it cuts out or the battery dies, I always have a backup cord sitting here for a quick change out. This here is my double cord. It's just 2 cords tied together, and I'll explain what I use that for and when I show you my guitars. Here are the lights I were talking about. I got them recently, just some cheap Amazon lights. I think they're meant for like a garden, or that's what the description said. And then I have these clamp adapters that are for a tripod, and I just screwed them through the hole. So not the greatest, but they work. All I wanted it was just a little bit of lighting for when it gets really dark and I'm sitting in the dark playing. Every time I see a picture or video of me playing in the dark, it's like you can't even see me. So just having a little bit of light to highlight yourself is nice. Even if you set it up during the day and it's still light out, I would suggest still having these just in case you play long enough that it gets dark. So moving over to my drums, I got another K&M stand, another SM58, same pick holder, same string swing, or swirly gig cup holder. I take my iPad and just unscrew it and put it over there when I'm playing my drums. These are the Farmer Foot drums. Talked about them before, but these are amazing. I have the 12 pedal kit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These 2 I took off. I tried to make a MIDI foot switch that would connect to this, but it didn't quite work out, and I just ended up not needing it. So I just don't have those pedals on there right now. But I'll just explain it quick again. On the right, I have a hi-hat, bass, heels. These big bars are your snare drum. Up here, I have my cymbal, my crash cymbal. And on the left, I have a hi-hat clutch. And then I have another regular hi-hat. So it's great for playing rock and roll songs, and I play a lot of country on these too, but I don't do anything too fancy, just mainly a basic beat. So the Farmer Foot drums are great. I can't say enough good things about them. Check them out. Pete Farmer makes them up in Michigan. I'll link to them also. I do make the snare drum and the bass drum. Most of the time I don't end up turning these up just because I'm inside and they're loud enough without it. Sometimes I'll turn up the bass drum just a little bit to get some thump in the speakers. But if I'm outside, I will turn them up. Also, I use those mics for recording now that I have the new mixer that does multi-track. So it's nice to have those. The microphones are some old Samson microphones that just came in a drum pack. I think they're out of date now. They have a new model now. But little mic stand too. There's a bass mic. Made a custom custom kick drum head with my logo on it. Put an LED strip around it, adds a little bit of light to it, highlights it a little bit. Cymbals are Z Custom Zildjians. They're just what came with my full drum set. Tambourine, actually someone at a show gave this to me. I don't know why they had a tambourine, but it's a Stag. It works pretty good, but I don't play that. I let my audience members play that when they're having a good time, drinking and whatnot. It adds a little bit to the show, gets the audience involved. It's a good idea. I would recommend having a tambourine for the audience members to play. Although, word of caution, sometimes people are really bad at tambourine and it can be very distracting, so just be careful who you give that to. Always have a tip bucket. There have been times where I played private shows like grad parties or weddings where I didn't really feel comfortable putting a tip bucket out, and then people will come up and try and tip you and wonder where your bucket is, so they'll stick money in your pocket. So always have a tip bucket, even if you put it off to the side. Just have something for people to give you tips, because if you're doing a good job, people will want to tip you, even if it is a private gig or some kind of gig you wouldn't think that people would tip you. Got some stickers on my bucket too. Foot drums, Catan for all my gamers out there. I have a lot of business cards I have out. I normally just put them in front of my tip bucket. It's a great way to get more business. I have my website and my QR code. I scratched it out on here, but that's my tip bucket. Now that covers everything on this side. For my guitars, I started out with these Hercules stands, just the single stands. I really like these because they lock your guitar in, and they're a lot more stable than the old-fashioned ones, like these, where they sit on this wobbly thing. So I feel a lot safer with these Hercules stands. They use the weight of the guitar to support them too. I ended up getting another one, and then a third one, and then eventually I started bringing 4 guitars just for a couple shows. So I ended up getting this 5 guitar stand, also by Hercules, pretty stable. It folds up nice and flat. It's pretty big still, so you gotta have room in your car, but it is nice. I can just bring one stand, and it's a quick setup like that, and it's already set up. Just some straps. This one I do like a lot. It's a Levi's strap, or a Levi's strap. It's nice, big, and padded. So, not super necessary, but I like it. I'll link to it. Now all that's covered, I'll start with my guitars. So this is my main guitar. I got this one back in middle school. It's an Alverez. I got it at Guitar Center. I was looking at a Fender originally, and then the salesman showed me this one. It was cheaper. I thought it sounded better, had a little better hardware, so I've stuck with it ever since. It's been an amazing guitar. I'll never part with it. The electronics did start going bad at one point, so I tried to look for a replacement, but ended up just getting an LR bag system, which sounds really good. And I also have this. It's just a little button, a strap button that offsets, so you can have your strap on and plug your plug underneath your strap. I think they're like $20, but those are really nice. Makes it feel a little more secure than the strap button that was on it. Going to my next most used guitar. This is my PRS SE hollow body piezo 2. I think I said that right. I'll put it on the screen if I didn't. But I got this one because it has a piezo in the bridge. That way I can do electric and acoustic sounds at the same time. So it has a battery and 2 inputs. So on this input, you can do just electric sounds. On this input, you can do electric or piezo. So if I have both plugged in, this one's my electric and this one's my piezo acoustic sounds. And then on here, you have your tone. This is your electric volume, and this is your piezo volume. So just using these 2 knobs, I can blend in an acoustic or an electric sound. And that's all routed through a patch in my Axe Effects. And that's why I have the double cable. But it's really nice. There's been times where I've broken strings on my acoustic and just switched to this and done only acoustic sounds, and it works really good as a backup. Now, it's not quite the same as an acoustic because it has electric strings on it, and it's just not built like an acoustic, so it's not quite the same, but for people at a bar playing a cover gig, it does the job as good as you would need it to. Moving to my SG, I got this one back in high school. I think it's a 2012, I want to say. It has split coil pickups, so I can do a coil tap. I normally have this one tuned down a half step for any songs that I need half step down. And then this one is also, my PRS is in standard, half step, standard tuning. Moving on to my Telecaster, I just got this one recently. I haven't used it much live because I'm not used to using single coils, and it doesn't really work great with the preset that I have, and I haven't taken the time to make one. But it's a Mexican Tele. It's got Nashville style pickups like a Strat. It's been really good guitar, but haven't used it much live. Just a couple gigs though. Next I have my Guild. It's a baritone acoustic. So instead of it being tuned to E standard, it's tuned to B standard. I like it a lot. I haven't used it a whole lot live because it's just a different sound and haven't gotten a good feel for how to make it blend with my setup. But if I want to play a song that's a little too out of my vocal range, I can pick up this guitar, play the same chords, and it'll fit my vocal range a lot better. I play Baba O'Reilly, and I like the sound of that when I play it on this guitar because it's down, I think, 5 steps maybe? I forget. This is my Guild 12 string. I don't use it a whole lot either. Kind of same reason. There's not a whole lot of songs that I play with the 12 strings, and it's just one more thing to bring. But it sounds really good. Looks good. I like it. Not much to say about it, but it's a 12 string. This one, my Epiphone Les Paul, this is my first guitar ever. Back in 2007. I don't play it much anymore, but still a great guitar, especially for my first one. And that covers all my guitars. Mainly, I only bring the first 3, my SG, my PRS, and my Alverez. A lot of the times, just the PRS and Alverez. These are my main 2. The rest just depend on the show and what I'm feeling like playing. A couple elements that I used to use but don't use now just because I've upgraded or found something different. The QSC, it's a K2 series. It's the 10-inch speaker. That was my first speaker when I first started playing. It's a great sounding speaker. It's a really good size. The one bad thing I have to say about it is when I would use it with my modelers, if I turn it up to a certain point and hit a certain note on my guitar, it has a damage protection system, and a certain note, when it's loud enough, it'll detect damage in the speaker and it'll shut off. So sometimes I've used it with my Helix or Axe Effects as just a FR, and it cuts out just randomly, so I have to reset it, and it takes a while to turn off and turn back on. So that's the only downside I found to it, but other than that, it's been a great little secondary speaker or monitor if I've needed it to go along with the two RCF speakers. Also, I used to use a Helix. I started out with the Helix. It's great. Really didn't need to upgrade to the Axe-Fx, but there were a couple features in the Axe-Fx that I liked, and just more power. There's a longer loop station. I think I can do up to 6 minutes on the Axe-Fx, which the Line 6 was limited to about 1 minute. But the Helix did pretty much everything I needed it to, and I've switched back and forth between the Helix and the Axe-Fx a couple times, but right now I'm currently on the Axe-Fx, and it's working good for me. The Helix is a lot easier to adjust on the fly. I could make a whole preset on the Helix in a couple minutes. The Axe-Fx, if I was in a show and had to make a new preset, I'd be lost. So that's why I have 3 or 4 backup presets on the Axe-Fx. I have backups on here too, but this is a lot easier to adjust than the Axe-Fx. So the Axe-Fx, I do all the editing on the computer. It's a lot easier when you have a mouse and a keyboard to work on things than just a button. For my foot drums, I used to use this stool, just a cheap stool I had at home, but it was kind of a pain to bring around, and it's really top heavy, awkward to carry. So I upgraded to this drum throne. It's a Gibraltar. It's the extra tall model. I had a regular Gibraltar drum throne for my main drum set, but it wasn't tall enough. You sit really low, and it's hard to hit these pedals because they're kind of high up. So this one's an extra tall. I'll link to it, and it works great. It's good height, so definitely recommend it. It was expensive, but it was worth it because it can unpack, and the bass to it will fit in the bag with my mic stands and these speaker poles for my monitors. The bag I use for all those is this lacrosse bag. My mom found it at a thrift store for me, and it's the perfect size for everything. I can't fit really anything else into it, and it gets super heavy. I'm surprised it hasn't ripped, but it's been a great bag for my mic stands. I definitely recommend it if you're looking for something small that's not crazy expensive. I don't know how much it would cost to buy this new, but if you can find it at a thrift store, even better. Another great thing I have that I recommend every guitar player or anybody who uses these IEC cables. This is a 15-footer, I think, 15 or 20 feet, but this is great because I know I can pretty much reach anywhere I need to with this. There's been many times, even before I played solo like this, that I've been lugging my amp around that the tiny little cable that comes included is not long enough. So these have been great. Just Amazon purchase. Another thing I recommend is these Furman power strips. They're pretty long and they're durable. It's a lot nicer having this on stage than it is having some cheap little plastic thing that's white and not as durable. You can see I've had it for a while. It's a little bit twisted up, but as long as you take care of it, it'll last you a long time. I also have one of these with a cable reel on it, which definitely recommend. These are nice because they can wheel up nice and compact, and they go up pretty fast. It's just nice having different options for getting power, which can be tricky sometimes. A couple different accessories that I use. Harmonicas, I use the Hohner Special 20s. I did have a really cheap pack when I first started learning. It's like one of those $10 Christmas specials, but it was fine for learning. But when I switched to these Special 20s, I could immediately tell a difference. There's not a bunch of air that leaks out in the side, and they just sound good. I went to see Blues Traveler a couple years ago, and I actually caught one of John Popper's Special 20C, not this one. I mixed it up one time and started playing it, and you could tell he blew a bunch of cigarette smoke through it, so I hung that one up and don't play that one. But Special 20s are great to get. You can get a 3-pack for about $150, at least when I got them. But I have a C, a G, and an A, and that covers pretty much any song that I would want to play. The G gets used the most. This one gets used when I play Piano Man and a couple others, and the A sometimes gets used. When I'm playing an E blues, you can use an A. Capos I used to have a Kaiser, one of the old spring kind, but I lost it, and then I got this one. This is I forget what model it is, a Dunlop. I'll link to it. They're pretty good. The only issue I've had with them is when I got this second one, the knob fell off, and it was on my guitar during a gig, so I kind of had to just wiggle it off. Luckily it came off, and I was able to super glue this back onto the screw. But then after I needed one just for at home, which now I just take to gigs too, but this is the Shub. It's a brass color, but this has been really good. This is another classic design that it just works. There's pros and cons to all of them, but at the end of the day, it's a capo. I also bring a snark along with me, just a basic snark. I don't use it a ton, but if for some reason, sometimes my tuner on the Axe Effects, since I have 3 different cables plugged in for my guitars, sometimes it doesn't read quite right on the tuning, so I can pull this out and get a real quick tune. But for the most part, it stays in my box just as an extra. So this is my camera setup, which I'm really bad at filming myself. I haven't been able to find some good angles or the lighting or sound, so that's a work in progress for me. I've had this GoPro, well, not a GoPro, it's a DJI Action. I think it's the first model of the DJI Action, Osmo Action. But I've had this for a long time. Any videos you see of me on YouTube is probably filmed with this, or my main camera that I'm using now. It's a Sony ZV-E10. I got these lights to use live, actually, also for making these videos, but they're Ulanzi. They work pretty good. They don't have a great battery life, so they didn't really work for me live, but they're nice to have just for doing this stuff. I just got this recently. It's a Neewer. It's a clamp arm that I clamp onto my speaker pole, and I can set up my GoPro on it. It's been pretty good. You can adjust it, and it's nice for putting a GoPro and stuff on there. That's pretty much all my camera equipment. It's definitely a work in progress for me, trying to get some more videos live, but for now that's what I'm using. Here's all my gear that I bring on most typical shows. So I used to pack everything in this Honda Civic, which has been a great vehicle. Has a lot more space than you think it would, but I recently got upgraded to a truck. So my new vehicle for hauling all my gear is this truck. Got plenty of space in the bed, I got a nice carpet, and the most important top part is this topper, Diamondback topper. I've only had it a couple weeks, but it's been through a couple big rainstorms. One storm with all my gear in the back, and everything was bone dry, so far so good on that. So here's a quick time lapse of me packing everything up into the truck just to show you how quick it is and how well everything fits using the Diamondback topper. If you have a truck and are considering a setup like this, I can't recommend the Diamondback enough, even in the short time I've had it. It feels super secure, it's dry, fits everything really well. It is a little bit short, but it hasn't been a problem for me. And here's everything set up at the gig that night. Doesn't look like all that much stuff when it's set up, but it is a lot of stuff, so just be careful on how much stuff you're bringing to your gigs. So that's my whole setup. Let me know if you have any questions about anything. I'll go more into depth in another video or in the comments. I'm going to link to everything that I can in the description. That way you can check it out if you want to. They might be affiliate links, they might not. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video.